With just a couple of weeks left in the softball regular season, UMass Boston and Castleton are scrapping for every inch they can get. For the Beacons, who've dropped to 4-8 on the backs of 4 consecutive losses in conference, they're in 7th place, just outside of the 6-team playoff bubble in the 9-team Little East Conference, and looking to recover some ground. For the Castleton Spartans at 6-4, they are tied for second, and a 3-way tie there with UMass Dartmouth and the University of Southern Maine. They are looking for some clearance on a 60-degree Tuesday afternoon here at the Harbor. We appreciate you joining us here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. This is Milton Posner coming to you live from UMass Boston, as the Beacons take the field behind their starting pitcher, Emily Doble, the junior out of Danvers, Mass. 90 innings thrown on the season with an ERA of 5.1. And a solid couple of recent starts. She hasn't really been shellacked in a while, but nevertheless has been the sort of season that we didn't necessarily expect from her after she threw under 3 in terms of earned run average last season in her 13 starts. But nevertheless, she is carrying a much larger load this season, just 81 innings pitched of all of last season. This year, she's almost certain to finish above 100. And she's going to square off against a Castleton lineup that has got some juice to it. And they're going to hit you with it right away. The lineup for the Spartans, it'll break down like this. The catcher, Hannah Mosher, hitting first. Second baseman, Allie Allman behind her, and the first baseman, Samara Rideout. The heart of the order, the shortstop, Alexis Rogers, the left fielder, Miranda Fish, and the designated player, Alex Brulette. And then bringing up the rear, the right fielder, center fielder, and third baseman, that would be Erin Ricks, Jess Heinrichs, and Kayla Fack, respectively. This is a lineup that ranks about middle of the pack in the Little East in some of the major offensive categories, an average on-base percentage, slugging. But they'll lead it off with Mosher. He's coming into this game about as hot as any of the Castleton hitters. First pitch from Doble, and away we go as that one misses low, ball 1. Big start is going to be important for Doble and the Beacons, trying to build up some momentum after a pair of losses against EastCon. So that one's tipped behind the plate, count 1-1. Mosher had a couple of home runs against Skidmore earlier in the season. That would account for 2 of her 3 on the season. The team hit 5 home runs in that game and didn't mercy rule. They did win 7 by a 7-run margin. Another home run came about a week ago. 2-1. Beacons coming off a couple of losses to EastCon, and I don't want to say that's much of a shock. EastCon hasn't lost to anybody so far this season. 10-0 in conference play. They've won 12 games in a row, and they're now sitting at 20-8 overall in the season. Castleton's coming in at 13-11. The Beacons have a better overall record at 18-13, but it's the conference marks that both of these teams are looking at the moment. That one's topped off to second. Kaylee Bruce up with it, throws to first for the out, and we are underway from the Harbor. The defense for Natalia Aradagna's Beacons will line up this way. Bruce at second, throwing to Toomey over there just a moment ago. Sydney Sandin at short, Lauren Miner at third, with Caitlin Sawyer handling Emily Doble. The outfield, the usual catcher, Tam Landry, is in left, where she has been the last couple of weeks. Sophie Richland, the lanky 6-foot freshman, manning the center field, and Amari English, the big hard-hitting right fielder for the Beacons. 1-0 pitch home from Doble. That one is lined in the left center field, falling in between Landry and Richland. And the first hit of the game belongs to the number 2 hitter, Allie Almond. So 1 on, 1 out for the Spartans. And the batter is Samara Rideout. You can can see the average, 9th best in the Little East. She stares down Doble with that level stance, takes ball 1 in the dirt. Rideout started the season a little bit more slowly. Just 4 runs batted in her first 12 games. Now she's got 11 in her last 11. As she takes an off-speed pitch high and gets ahead 2-0. She's hit safely in 10 of her last 12. And has staked her claim as someone who's rather difficult to strike out. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one ducks its way in for strike 1. Head coach Eric Ramey of the Spartans says Rideout's got a good swing. She's got a good vision and natural feel at the plate. She's a hitter they don't have to do a whole lot with. Slings that one off toward the right side and out of play. Counts 2-2 now. Says she's got the personal makeup. She's tough between the ears, confident that she's got a short memory, which is something you'll hear coaches talk about a lot. How quickly can you rebound from the failures that will inevitably come? So that one arrives in the dirt and the count swells full. So Almond ready to go at second, 1 out in the frame, 3-2 to Samara Rideout. Punches that one in the air into right field, into shallow right field, and Bruce makes the catch on the pop fly. 2 gone in the frame. And now it's Alexis Rogers. We'll presumably see her pitch. She is the likely choice to take the ball in the plate in game 2. But for now, starting at shortstop. And taking a fastball low. Sitting 290 on the season. Got 5 doubles to her name. But coming in on a bit of a dry spell bat-wise. Just 1 of 8 in the doubleheader on the road against Rhode Island College. The Spartans split that doubleheader, winning the first one 3-2 in extra innings, and then dropping the second by a 4-run margin. But they have won 3 of their last 4. They swept Plymouth State before that. And going back before that, they had their own doubleheader sweep against EastCon. Everyone's getting swept by EastCon is the theme around the LEC these days. Eric Ramey also said they knew when they joined the conference in the 2019 season, everyone beats up on each other in the Little East except for EastCon. Winning culture, it's hard to put them away. Ground ball, left side, bobbled initially. The throw to first gets away. Scampering to third and sliding in safely is Allie Almond. We'll wait for a scorer's decision on this one, but the ball was not fielded cleanly. It's going to be an error on the third baseman, Lauren Miner. And so the E5 will put runners at the corners with 2 gone in the inning. And this has been the troublesome area for UMass Boston. The pitching has been solid enough. I'm ranking 4th in the conference in earned run average. The offense is top 3 in most of the categories you'd want to peek at. But the fielding percentage has lagged behind. Commit a couple of errors in a typical game. The fielding percentage around .928, easily last in the conference. And where applicable, those errors have extended opponents' rallies. They have made it difficult for the pitchers to squeeze their way out of the innings. And they've got the highest ratio of unearned runs to total runs out of any team in the conference. 1-0, that one is over for a strike. It's Miranda Fish standing in at the dish, 5'2" graduate outfielder out of Gettsville, New York. One of a handful of players to have started every game this season for Eric Ramey's Spartans. Off speed comes low. And scampering on down to second, making it in safely, is Alexis Rogers. Took Sawyer a minute to locate the ball. It's going to go as a passed ball. So Rogers reaching on an error, advancing on a passed ball, taking whatever gifts the Beacons will give, and that one tails off the outside edge. 3-1 now. And Fish, who's hitting .282 on the season and is nursing a 4-game hit streak, has 2 runners in scoring position and the count in her favor. Doble's pitch finds the zone. Critical pitch there to move the count full. Payoff pitch here. 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 to Miranda Fish. Line drive caught on a hop by Sandin. Nice play over to first. And Sydney Sandin, who spent most of the year in center field, makes it look clean at shortstop with her sister and family in attendance today. Beacons escape the top of the first with no damage as the Spartans strand a pair. Top of the order to bat for UMass Boston when we come back. The senior right-hander Olivia Joy to take the hill for Castleton. It's been a terrific season for her with an ERA of just 2.08 in her 11 starts. And the secret to it, she hasn't really been lit up at any point. The worst start she's made, you could argue, was the 5 innings pitched against Skidmore where she gave up 3 earned runs, but even that's manageable for her team. They won the game going away behind those 5 home runs. The pitcher who's been through the LEC gauntlet a few times, who's matured as she entered her senior year and has a good rapport with her battery mate there, Hannah Mosher, behind the plate. She'll do battle with a Beacons lineup that's been slumping a little bit lately, but that nevertheless remains dangerous. The center fielder Sophie Richland to lead it off, with Kaylee Bruce and Sydney Sandin to follow. Mari English, Lawrence Minor, and Bethia to follow them as Richland tops this one off to short and is retired for the first out. Caitlin Sawyer, Jordan Toomey, Tam Landry bringing up the rear. And to retire Richland on the ground ball is no small feat. You can see that running out of the box approach. You can see the speed that she has getting down the line even at 6 feet tall. Now the buck falls to Kaylee Bruce. It's been starting at second base, place of the injured Haley Tilbury, and has availed herself well in the role. Joy fires home with a 1-0 pitch. Line drive caught by the shortstop Rogers for a quick second out. And now to Sydney Sandin. Hitless in her last 13 at-bats, but on the whole is having a tremendous season. So 4th in the conference in batting average, as you can see there. She's got 9 doubles on the year. A line drive hitter. She's not going to knock the cover off the ball for you, but she will hit and hit consistently. In fact, she's gotten on base about half the time. And a diving try and a catch in right field by Ricks. The hitless streak continues for Sandin, courtesy of a web gem from Aaron Ricks. To the top of the second we go, and the Beacons are going to still look for their first base runner in the second.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just the starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go.
What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
Alex Brulette, Aaron Ricks, Jess Heinrichs due up for Castleton. And Ricks, as you saw a moment ago, made that tremendous catch in right field. You lay out against a player with Sandin's speed, as Doble delivers strike one, and you don't come up with it. If that thing gets by you, she's standing on second base at the bare minimum. But Ricks took a chance and was rewarded. One hopper to Bruce, over to first. And the defense has been solid from Kaylee Bruce, just as it was from Tilbury before. So the putouts coming fast and furious on the infield, and now it's Aaron Ricks. Making just her 7th start on the season. She's only had 6 at-bats to this point and nabbed her first base hit of the year in the team's last doubleheader against Rhode Island College. Senior outfielder now standing in against Emily Doble and staring down the barrel of a 1-0 count. Off speed in there for a strike. When Doble's going well, the command will look good, and those droppers will bamboozle the hitters. As that one misses the black, and 1-2 now the count to Ricks. Doble winds, fires. That one's fought off as it sailed through the upper half of the zone. That one misses too, and now Doble dealing with an even count. 2-2. Castleton had some traffic in the first inning. Swinging and holding up is the ruling is Ricks. 3-2 the count now. On deck, the center fielder, Jess Heinrichs. Doble checks the wrist, checks the plate, tries to go inside, and that one's fought off in the left field. Giving chase is Landry and can't make the running catch. In and out of the glove from Tam Landry, who, despite the cannon out there, courtesy of her usual catching position, is still adjusting to the outfield. Natalia Ardagna wants her in the lineup, but she wants Caitlin Sawyer as well. And as Doble blows away Ricks, so Landry can breathe a little bit easier after the drop foul ball. There are 2 outs in the frame, and Heinrichs will step in. First strikeout of the game for either side. And Doble once again going to that top half of the zone for a swinging strike, this time out of Heinrichs. Sophomore who's utility player who's pitched just the one inning so far this season, but has been a mainstay in the lineup. She's got 4 multi-hit games on the year, including hits in the first 5 at-bats. That was how she started her season down in Myrtle Beach. That one fades away a little bit too far away, and the first ball of the AB goes up on the board. 1-2 pitch. Doble comes home inside and a smidge low as well. Heinrichs hitting .341. She's got that rare sort of stat line. She has no doubles, no home runs on the season, but she does have 2 triples. Weak ground ball to third, scooped up by Miner. Easy play to first. And a 1-2-3 inning sends the Beacons back to the dugout. We'll be right back.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, where it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what you
Amari English to get things going against Olivia Joy in the Beacons half of the second. They're set down in order by Joy the first time around. English with that open stance punches one in a shallow center field. Now moving back is the center fielder Heinrichs to make the grab. One gone in the inning. And now it's Lauren Miner. Were it not for Noelle Simmons, who's been absolutely raking down there at Rhode Island College, Miner would be the runaway favorite for LEC Rookie of the Year. She has been that good at the plate. On base percentage tied for the league lead with Sydney Sandin, her teammate. Second in slugging and in home runs. Third in triples. She swings and misses at that one. She's also leading the league in walks, and it's not particularly close either. She's got 22. The next closest hitter has 14 of them. That level of fear of a freshman, discipline from a freshman, probably a little bit of both. And then, of course, she's driven in 25 runs. She's stolen all 5 bases that she's attempted. And she takes another one outside here to even up the count at 2-2. 4 multi-hit games for Miner in the Beacons' last 8 contests. On a beautiful try off the outside edge from Joy, but she doesn't get the call. And now, Miner's dealing with a 3-2 count. Joy winds, fires, hacked off, and will do it again. Miner 5'11" with some serious pop to that swing. 18 extra base hits, and she's got more triples than any of the others. Another 3-2. Ball 4 high, and for the league-leading 23rd time, Lauren Miner draws a walk. Lauren Bethia now in the designated player spot for Natalia Ardagna today. Bethia hitting .298 on the season. And dealing with an 0-1 count right now. Player who provides some power, who's been working to adjust to the pressures and the ebb and flow of being an everyday player. But in a little bit of a slump recently. He's been getting some hits, but she hasn't been driving the ball as well as she did in the start of the year. Has 6 extra base hits, but none in her last 6 games. Oh, 0-2 pitch from Joy. Oh, and that one dove out of sight. Back to the dugout goes Bethia on the first strikeout of the game from Olivia Joy. Caitlin Sawyer to the dish now. Grounds that one to short, shovel to second, and that'll conclude the frame. So a 1-out walk from Lauren Miner. She is stranded. And at the end of 2 full, no score from the Harbor.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do.
Emily Doble back to the pitching circle. As the Beacons looking to shake off a snide that has followed them around the last couple of games. Again, you don't necessarily blame a team for dropping a pair to EastCon at this point. But aside from that Suffolk win in the midweek, the Beacons have lost 4 out of their last 5. And those are the 4 in the last 5 that have been conference games, getting swept by EastCon and then before that by UMass Dartmouth. Splitting a pair of games with Plymouth State where a sweep was certainly well within reach. Splitting a pair with WestCon, and upshot of it is they're now tied for 7th place in a 9-team conference. 6 teams make the LEC tournament, a double elimination affair to be hosted, I feel like we can say at this point, by EastCon. Probably used to hosting this thing by now. Perennially dominant Warriors squad. And these are the teams that are battling to try to knock them off. And Castleton has certainly picked up some steam as the year has gone on. That one's punched into left field. Landry moving over and can't make the play. That ball is down, and cruising into second base is Kayla Fack. It's going to go as a fielding error on Landry. And a 2-base error at that to put Fack in scoring position with nobody out. And you can see the difficulty that the Beacons have had with some of the defensive changes that have been made. Landry normally plays catcher. She has 6 errors on the season. Pardon, she has 4 errors on the season. 3 of them have come in the last 4 games, and that's not counting the one you just saw. It's the shuffling around. Little swinging bunt there from Mosher trickles foul. Landry normally catches. She's out in left. Sandin normally plays center. She's at short. Challenge has been the left side defense from Lauren Miner, who normally plays short but is now at third, and Lauren Bethia, who normally played third and is now in the designated player spot. Little punch shot there. Miner charged it hard trying to make the catch, and it trickles under the glove. So Mosher will reach. And now an especially tricky situation here for UMass Boston. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and the ever-dangerous Allison Allman stepping in. Strike one on the play. It's being ruled by the scorer as a sacrifice. Popping up the bunt, and now it's being overturned into a single. Off for second is Mosher. The throw down. She collides with a shortstop, Sandin covering, scampering home, and scoring is Fack. And the umpire coming out to make a ruling here. Doesn't appear as though anyone is being called back, and so the run should stand. Eric Ramey, the head coach of the Spartans, wants a word here. Mosher, who reached on the bunt single, took off for second, had the bag stolen, collided at the base with the shortstop Sydney Sandin as she came over to cover. And as she did, it allowed Fack to scramble home. So it's going to go as a stolen base of second by Mosher. That would make it her 4th of the year. And then a throwing error from the catcher Sawyer. Bunt laid down here by Allman. She's going to reach. And the small ball continues here for Castleton despite not hitting the ball out of the infield so far this inning. They have 1 run in. They have 2 runners on. There is still nobody out. And now they hand it to their number 3 hitter, the dangerous Samara Rideout. Rideout shows bunt, takes, throw goes down to third. But Miner cut it off. She was playing in because of the bunt. Sandin not yet at third base, so just a little check on you throw. So Fack reaches on the error from the left fielder Landry. Advances on the bunt single. Mosher steals after the bunt single. Fack comes in to score on the throwing error as the ball goes into center field with the collision at second. And then Allman with a bunt single to put us exactly where we are. Plus an extra steal of second from Allman as well. So the Spartans running here is Rideout gives that one a ride out to left field, but foul. Two runners in scoring position, 1 in, nobody out. All of these runs unearned because of the 2 errors. That one slapped to the right side. Bruce makes the play. Out at first is Rideout. The run comes in to score. It is 2-0 in favor of the Spartans. And the Bills starting to come due for UMass Boston. So scoring on the play was Mosher. Advancing to third is Allie Almond. And now with another run 60 feet away, Alexis Rogers, the shortstop, steps in. She reached on the Beacons' first error of the game and then advanced on a pass ball before she was stranded. So the Beacons digging their own grave here in the top of the third inning as Castleton has yet to hit a ball out of the infield. Punched on the ground through the legs of Doble and into center field. Base hit for Rogers, plates Almond, and 3-0 the Spartans lead. For Rogers, the 13th RBI of the season. And Castleton bringing the Beacons chickens home to roost. So Rogers on first now with one out. The batter is Miranda Fish, who grounded out to short with 2 on her last time up. Shows bunt. It's popped up and a nice diving catch by Sawyer. Some stalwart defense there from Sawyer, the same inning as her error, and a much needed second out for UMass Boston. So after the pop-up bunt, Alex Brulette will make her second plate appearance, grounded to second her last time. So errors in the inning from Sawyer and from Landry have facilitated the scoring of 3 unearned runs against Doble. Chopped off the top of the bat 0-2. Brulette, according again to head coach Eric Ramey, is a good freshman hitter with a swing built for contact, somebody who doesn't chase a whole lot, and has been on a terrific stretch recently. Flies this one into right. English with a beat on it, though, and that will end the inning. But the Beacons with 3 self-inflicted runs here, 2 errors and a gaggle of infield hits and stolen bases, put 3 runs on the board for the Spartans. And that's where we stand, headed to the bottom of the third.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provider.
The 8-9 and 1 hitters for UMass Boston, the bottom of the third. That would be the first baseman Jordan Toomey, the left fielder Tam Landry, and then back to the top for the center fielder Sophie Richland. Beacon still looking for their first hit against Joy, who's allowed the walk to minor and nothing more. It's been just a terrific season for her out there in the pitcher's circle. Player who had a fine year last year as well. 82 innings pitched with an ERA of just about 3. And the last time she faced UMass Boston had a career-high 11 strikeouts as Toomey punches this one in the left. Coming on to make the catch is Fish. And Toomey is retired. Whether the 11 strikeout game was the best game Joy pitched last season is up to you. And I say it's up to you because she threw a no-hitter last year as well. Did it against WestCon. The year before that, shut out UMass Dartmouth in the LEC tournament. So a terrific pedigree for the senior out of Greenfield, Mass. Fires off the plate, 1-1. Her last time out, 8 innings pitched, just 2 earned runs. That was against Rhode Island College 3 days ago. And up to you what the most impressive part of this is, whether it's the ERA, which is 6th in the conference, or the fact that she has not thrown a wild pitch this year in her 60-plus innings. 1-2, swing and a miss, down goes Landry. And the second strikeout of the game for Olivia Joy. Back to the top of the order now. Sophie Richland to the plate, grounded out too short her last time up. Richland, and with her hitting style, this isn't necessarily a surprise, but does not have an extra base hit this season. She is, however, riding an 8-game hitting streak. Little drag bunt there. This is going to be a tough play. There will be no play, and the Beacons' first hit of the game belongs to the speedy Sophie Richland. So a bunt single for the freshman, who has established herself as a speed-first threat at the top of this Beacons lineup from day one. And now Kaylee Bruce with a runner on, just the second base runner the Beacons have had so far. And a conference there between the home plate umpire and the head coach Eric Ramey, seeking clarification. Ramey's in his 12th season. 12th season overall, I should say. Had 3 years at Castleton from 2003 to 2005, and then returned in 2015. Pitch comes up high, maybe a faux pitch out there from Joy, but Richland stays put. She is always a threat to steal. Swiped 12 out of 14 bags this season as Bruce whiffs at the first in the zone offering. 1-1. Joy wheels, deals, off speed, in there. 1 and 2. And she has not let too many of the Beacon hitters get an advantage on her in the count. Up high, Richland once again feigning towards second base to draw the catcher's interest. 2 and 2. Joy has that release point. It's a little bit difficult to pick up. She gets way low, comes at you. It's enough of a little hitch there to make you hesitate up there at the plate. 3 and 2 now to Kaylee Bruce. With a runner on and 2 gone. Wave at it, and that's enough. Strikeout swinging. Strikeout looking, excuse me. It was a called strike. 3rd strikeout of the game for Joy as the Beacons strand their second runner of the game. We'll be right back.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue.
Three innings in the books here from the Harbor, and 3-0 the score on the board. Castleton leading UMass Boston as Aaron Ricks dumps that one into left field. And an easy catch made out there in left by Mackenzie Cahill, who has come on for Tam Landry. For Cahill, this is just her 7th game of the season. She hasn't started once, and is 0 for 5 from the plate. But Natalia Ardagna reaching in for some reinforcements here, possibly to bolster the defense. Cahill, unlike Landry, is listed as an outfielder. Ricks retired. The lineup moves down to Jess Heinrichs with Kayla Fack behind her. Punched on the ground to Miner at third, and it eats her up. Another batter reaching for the Spartans on a fielding error by the third baseman, Lauren Miner. And as terrific as the offense has been from Lauren Miner's bat, the fielding has been the issue. First pitch coming in now to Kayla Fack is a ball. For context here, Miner has more errors than the Southern Maine Huskies do as a team, as she fields this one and makes the play at first. She's got 21 errors coming into the game, and now has 2 in this one for 23 overall, representing about 35–40% of the Beacon's overall total. It's one of the things you got to adjust to as a freshman coming into the college game. Miner still with some adjustments to make. And so the 4th UMass Boston error in the first 4 innings, plus a ground ball to move the runner over. And now Jess Heinrich, standing at second base, is going to be pinch ran for. The pinch runner is Mason Billard, freshman out of Shaftesbury, Vermont, who's played in 11 games but has just 2 at-bats, is used mostly as this sort of substitute. Popped up, left field, Cahill ranging over, catch is made, and the Beacons have a much-needed clean inning. So despite the error, the runner is stranded. And at the end of 3.5, UMass Boston still looking for their first run.
My passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am
capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only
Sydney Sandin leads off the fourth with a fly ball hit on the screws, and for the second straight time, barrel contact does not produce the hit for Sandin. She is now hitless in her last 15. If you'll remember, she was robbed of a base hit by Aaron Ricks in right field with a diving catch moving forward way back in the first inning. English off the end of the bat to Joy, one pitch, one out, back-to-back times. And we have two gone in the bottom of the fourth. So some speedy pitching. Emily Doble's thrown 61 pitches to get through the 4 innings that she has pitched, as Lauren Miner takes ball 1. She's had to face, to this point, 6 more batters than Joy has. Joy, however, has thrown 23 pitches less. Her count is still below 40. Miner ahead 2-0, however, and takes that one again outside the zone 3-0. And for the first time all game, Joy has fallen this far behind one of the Beacon hitters. Miner takes inside the zone, rather, excuse me, for a strike. Joy comes home with a 3-1 pitch. That one's fought off, and the count is full. Miner walked her last time up. Squibs this one over to the right side. Easy money for the first baseman ride out. And through 4 innings, the Beacons have mustered just the 1 hit and the 1 walk against Olivia Joy.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown.
Hasn't exactly been easy offensive going for either team, but with the Beacons committing 4 errors through the opening 4 innings, it has provided Castleton with the impetus they have needed to put the 3 runs on the board, and that's where we stand now. 3-run margin, and the Beacons starting to run out of outs the way Olivia Joy is pitching. But it'll be the 2-3-4 hitters for the Castleton Spartans before the Beacons get their next chance. The second baseman, Allie Allman, the first baseman, Samara Rideout, and the shortstop, Alexis Rogers. Staring down Emily Doble, who is, by and large, pitched pretty well, as she establishes, as she has to most of these hitters, a first pitch strike. All of the runs that have been put on the board against her coming directly or indirectly as a result of the errors. As that one's popped up, ranging over and unable to make the grab are a couple of Beacons. We're going to count now 0-2 to Almond. She singled each of her last 2 times, stole a base, and scored a run in the third in that inning that just kept slipping away from UMass Boston. 0-2 pitch. Line drive, left field. That ball is falling in front of Cahill. It's a 3-hit day for Allie Almond. And we're only in the 5th inning. The first leadoff knock of the game for the Spartans. And now heading into the heart of the order, Emily Doble is going to have to buckle down in order to keep the margin where it is. Now stepping in is Samara Rideout at first, bunting and missing at that first pitch. And Bruce there is, probably couldn't see from that angle, but had a late break over there to second base, or to first base rather, which second is obliged to cover on a bunt play as the wheels turn. That one sails high to even up the count at 1-1. Rideout, daughter of a women's basketball coach. Her dad coaches up at Paul Smith's College. She's been raised in a sporting environment, understands not just success and failure, but that, as her head coach Eric Ramey says, you're never as good as you think, you're never as bad as you think. And if that's the consistency that's helped her in her freshman season, you look at the numbers, top 10 in the LEC in batting average, you assume whatever mentality she's got, it's working for her at the moment. Along with the aforementioned Lauren Miner, along with Noelle Simmons of Rhode Island College, has been one of the outstanding freshman hitters in the conference this year. And now has a favorable 3-1 count against Doble with a runner on base. Opens up a little bit too early there, and torpedoes it foul to run the count full. So Allie Almond on first base for the 3rd time today after her 3rd single. Nobody out. 3-2 to Samara Rideout. Ground ball to second. Going to second and unable to get the runner as that trickles into left field is Kaylee Bruce. She did not have a play there, as Almond got a terrific jump from first. The only play in that moment was to first. Bruce didn't realize it in time. So it's going to be a fielder's choice and an error. And a bunt laid down here by the cleanup hitter is, that one's ruled foul. It hit the bat a second time. So a fielder's choice and an E4. And once again, the Beacons with an error to allow Castleton a bit more breathing room. This should be runner on second, 1 out. Instead, it's 2 on, nobody out. As the bunt popped up there, will fall harmlessly out of the reach of the charging first baseman Toomey. 0-2 count. And Doble, who has struck out just the 1 batter through 4 innings, is in dire need of one here to keep this inning manageable. Alexis Rogers up there, pulls the bunt back, swings and misses. Doble pulled the string and got exactly what she needed. Her second strikeout of the game brings Miranda Fish to the plate. Fish grounded short her first time up, popped up a bunt her second time. Player coming back from an ACL injury that cost her all but 5 games last season and is working her way back to where she wants to be, showing that level of dedication. You have a serious ACL injury, it'll change your perspective on a lot of things. But Eric Ramey says he's happy for her given just how much progress she's made. As a player who started all 32 games as a freshman, had some terrific play, and chops this one foul to fall behind 1-2. But is having a fine season, hitting .282. She's driven in 18 runs and is trying to further a 4-game hit streak that's in jeopardy at the moment, and do it by driving in that runner from second. Off-speed swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts from Emily Doble. She's going back to the changeup reservoir when it's needed most. 2 gone in the inning now. And Alex Brulette, the designated player, still looking for her first hit of the day, will come up in a big spot. Olivia Joy has held the Beacons lineup so far, but there is still a lot of danger and a lot of pop for the blue and black. And some insurance for the Spartans would not go amiss as Brulette uncorks one into left field. That is over the head of Cahill into the wall. Scoring is Almond. Around third is Rideout. She will score as well. Scampering all the way to third is Brulette. And a 2-run double makes it 5-0 in favor of the Spartans. That was the hit the Spartans wanted. Setting the runners in motion and plating 2. So it's going to go as another fielding error on Caitlin Sawyer, her second of the game, the 6th for UMass Boston. So of the 5 runs that Doble has given up, currently 4 are being designated as earned. But an error for Bruce, an error for Tam Landry, who has since exited the game. 2 for Minor at third base, 2 for Sawyer behind the plate. And so UMass Boston, for whom errors have been the Achilles heel much of the year, have now set a season high in that category, 6 on the day. You got a pinch hitter and a pinch runner. It'll be Jordan Hill to pinch run for Brulette, with Sydney Miller, the 5th-year, pinch hitting at the plate for Ricks. Chipped off at the plate, giving chase is Sawyer, but it's out of play. One pitch. In there for a strike. And so Doble, who's only given up the 2 hits in the frame, has seeded 2 runs somehow. And a punch out. So despite the runs, she fans the side and does her best to get out of a sticky defensive situation. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Beacons with a 5-run crater to dig their way out of.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things, and I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
What do we mean when we say UMass is here?
Lauren Bethia, Caitlin Sawyer, Jordan Toomey, 6, 7, 8. In the bottom of the 5th inning for UMass Boston, which has mustered just the one hit. That was a bunt single from Sophie Richland in the 3rd, and the 2nd inning walk from Lauren Miner. Got a defensive substitution out there, or rather Ricks retaining her position in right field. So we got some substitutions all over the map. So, just to give you a refresher, Erin Ricks in right, Jess Heinrichs in center, Miranda Fish in left, Kayla Fack at third, Alexis Rogers at short, Allie Almond at second, Samara Rideout at first, with Hannah Mosher catching Olivia Joy. And now Bethia steps in, hitting .298 on the season and looking for her first hit of the day. Chops that one off, dribbling up the line, fair ball, and the tag applied by Rideout for the first out. And once again, Olivia Joy cruising with an easy out. Easy in terms of the number of pitches. She has faced now 15 Beacons and has retired them on 44 pitches. First pitch misses for a ball. Even when she's fallen behind, she's generally had enough in the tank to recover. Sawyer off the hands into left field, falling and down. Second hit of the game for UMass Boston comes off the bat handle of Caitlin Sawyer. And the Beacons with a chance to capitalize. Jordan Toomey to the plate now, 221 on the season. Punches that one, shallow center field, but it'll hang up long enough for the center fielder Heinrich, second out of the frame. And once again, those one-pitch outs coming fast and furious for Joy as the Beacons swinging and squaring some of these up, but not getting the right trajectory or the right placement to land them. Now it's Mackenzie Cahill, the sophomore out of Abington, Mass. In just her 6th at-bat of the season, she struck out in 3 of them and is looking for her first hit. Off the hands, dribbling up the line, ruled foul by the umpire. And there would be few times better for her first hit of the year than this one for Mackenzie Cahill, even with the 2 outs. The Beacons in sore need of something. Joy fires home on the 0-2, misses. She's got 3 strikeouts and hasn't really needed the put-away pitch too often, as the weak contact has been the name of the game for Olivia Joy thus far, but that one rings up the hitter. Fourth strikeout of the game is of the looking variety for Mackenzie Cahill. So the top of the sixth inning we go, still 5-0. And the Beacons starting to run out of outs.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that. The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of
5 runs, 6 hits on 6 hits and 6 Beacon errors for the Spartans. No runs on 2 hits against a clean Castleton defense here for UMass Boston. You don't want to take fielding percentage for more than worth a few grains of salt in most cases. It's always up to the scorer's judgment. It's always tricky to know exactly what it's telling you, but Castleton's got the second best fielding percentage in the LEC this season, and no errors in this one. The Beacons at .928 are last in the conference in that stat. It's the only major stat where they're last, but it's the one that has hurt them the most as they try to stay in the playoff picture. That one's punched out into left center field, and a beautiful catch by Cahill. On as a defensive substitute, and Mackenzie Cahill shows everyone why. Oh, that's just terrific. So despite the defensive struggles for UMass Boston, and there have been many, there have been flashes of brilliance. We saw them from Haley Tilbury earlier in the season before she became unavailable. We've seen some from Kaylee Bruce in her place. Seen throws from Amari English out there, and when Mackenzie Cahill gets her chance, that is how she responds. 1-1 now, the count to Kayla Fack at the bottom of the order. There's a dive going to her left and a scoop catch at that. Not an easy play to make. But any runner kept off the base paths for a UMass Boston team trying sorely to make a push here is much appreciated. They were shut out this time last week by UMass Dartmouth and by Southern Maine before that. But by and large, the offense has come to play this season. Three and one. Fack pulls back, takes high, and that's ball 4. For Doble now, the pitch count up to 90, whereas Joy has thrown just 51 to get 1 fewer out. And now Hannah Mosher. Grounded to second, then singled, stole a base and scored, then flew out to left. Punches back to the mound, Doble goes to first. Back pick at second, but in there in time is Fack. So 1-3 for the second out of the inning. And now it's Allie Allman to the plate. She's 3 of 3 on the day with 3 singles, a stolen base, and 2 runs scored. Been terrific in the number 2 spot. It's a 3-year starter for the Spartans with a naturally high compete level and taking ball 1 at the plate now. Always prepped, always flexible, says Eric Ramey, and I like when the ball's hit to her. That one sails upstairs in the count 2-0. She's hitting .311 coming into this game, with 9 doubles, tied for the conference lead with Sydney Sandin of the Beacons. Difference is she's also up there on the leaderboard in walks as well. This after a season where she was named to the LEC All-Conference second team. The .366 batting average on the year. Now she's got a 3-0 count and a runner waiting to be driven in. She takes that one low. Second walk of the inning for Doble. Almond has reached all 3 times now. Make it all 4 times. And with 2 on and 2 out, it's Samara Rideout, who has a run driven in and has scored a run in spite of not having a hit. That's what a 6-error game is going to do. But who on the year has been hitting up a storm. Doble misses the black and the count 1-0. In their half of the 6th inning, the Beacons will have the top of the order. Sophie Richland, Kaylee Bruce, Sydney Sandin, trying to generate something against a pitcher that has had each and every one of their numbers so far. Line drive into left field for a base hit. Rounding third and on her way home is Fack. And as the ball's bobbled out in left field, scoring behind her is Almond. It's 7-0 in favor of the Spartans. And the 7th Beacon error of the game cost them a run. Foibles in the field, making all the difference. And Mackenzie Cahill brought in as a defensive replacement for Tam Landry, who normally catches. And who made a sparkling catch a moment ago, bobbles it in left field. So 2 runs driven in for Almond. She advanced a second on the play. 2 runs batted in for Rideout, who advances to second on the play. And we're going to have a new pitcher on the mound. Adriana Fusco, who has made 7 relief appearances and a start for the Beacons this season with an 8.22 ERA. But who has performed pretty well in conference play. Had some struggles earlier in the year. She adapted to pitching at this level. "15 and change innings pitched on the season. She's got 11 strikeouts, but the 14 walks have been the challenge for her. Had the 1 start. That came on the 15th of this month in one of the Plymouth State games, where she, there was no polite way to put it, got shellacked a little bit. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 9 earned runs, as 19 batters reached base against her. But has settled in, and the numbers have improved a bit as the season has gone on. And now she's coming in against a tricky spot against a Castleton lineup that, yes, has been getting some hits for themselves, but has also been granted freebie after freebie by the Beacons defense. First pitch of the game is in there for a strike to the cleanup hitter Alexis Rogers, who reached on an error her first time up, drove in a run on a single her second time, and struck out swinging against Emily Doble in her most recent plate appearance. That one's popped up. Bruce makes the easy grab, but once again, the defense and a couple of well-timed hits come back to bite the Beacons. 7-0 Castleton lead as we head to the bottom of the sixth.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town, UMass Boston. Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Moving from Turkey.
What the Beacons need now is an offensive hurricane, and Olivia Joy is not the sort of pitcher who gives those up too easily. Swing and a miss by Sophie Richland. She'll be followed by Kaylee Bruce and Sydney Sand in the 1-2-3 spots for Natalia Ardagna's lineup. Beacons have mustered just 2 hits and a walk against the Spartan starter. 0-1, Richland punches that one to the left side and on through into left field. Makes a wide turnaround first and will hold with her second single of the game. So out of the 3 Beacon hits, 2 of them belong to the leadoff hitter, Richland. And now the question that she set the table, can the lineup behind her produce? First up to produce is Kaylee Bruce, lined to short and struck out looking in her previous appearances. Takes high, ball 1. Whatever Joy does, even if it's a hit, they have been quick. She's scarcely thrown more than a few pitches to any one batter. Lauren Miner's 7-pitch at-bat, where she drew the walk, being possibly the lone exception. And a rare occurrence here, she falls behind 2-0, as Bruce patiently waiting for her pitch. Richland at first, 2-1 offering, 2-0 offering, and now it's 3-0. Richland at first base has stolen 12 out of 14, but at this point, Beacon's likely better off just letting the hitters do the job. 3-0 pitch, swing and a miss, or rather swing and a foul tip. Bruce greenlit. At this point, the Beacons need base runners and plenty of them. Pitch. Just misses high. And a walk for Bruce. The Beacons have back-to-back base runners for the first time all game. And now with 2 on and nobody out, Sydney Sandin, who has hit the ball on the screws both times, but who is still riding an 0 for 15, is looking for a major hit here to snap out of it and turn this into a rally. Line drive, snagged at third, and for the 3rd time, Sandin barrels up a pitch and has Lady Luck deal her a bad hand. Really start to feel for her at this point. This is a hitter who had an average up above 450 for much of the year. And this is the sort of hitless streak that nobody deserves. Ground ball to short, shovel to second, on to first. They can't turn it as the throw gets away. Coming in to score the first run of the game is Richland, and the Beacons, after committing 7 errors themselves, finally benefit from the other end of the knife. It wasn't pretty, but they're on the board. So it's a fielder's choice and an error as Miner flies that one down the right field line and out of play. So it's an error on the second baseman, Ali Almond. So Bruce put out on the play. Richland scored. English reached first. But an unearned run on the board for the Beacons. Oh, 0-2 pitch. Miner takes outside. Throw goes down to first. And English dives back safely. One and two to Lauren Miner. 0 for 1 with a walk so far today. She takes off the plate again. She has shown all kinds of discipline this season, and we talked about the issues out in the field, but leading the conference in walks. Chops that one in the left. That one is falling. That's a tough play. There will be no play. Bobbled in left field, but English wisely holds on at second base as that one didn't make it too far into the outfield grass. So a base hit for Miner. The second bloop base hit in the left field for the Beacons in the last 2 innings. And an opportunity here for Lauren Bethea with 2 on and 2 out. Meeting on the mound here as Eric Ramey comes to visit his infield. And Olivia Joy starting to feel just a little taste of what Emily Doble was dealing with the entire start, which is you haven't let anybody taste hard contact against you, and nevertheless you've got traffic on the bases and a run in. For the Spartans, it was 3 in the third, 2 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth. For UMass Boston, just the lone run here in the bottom of the sixth, and in sore need of more heading into the final frame. It's up to Lauren Bethea to supply it. First pitch off the plate, ball 1. That one ducks inside, but still grabs the corner. The catcher, Mosher, got crossed up. Wind has started to pick up. One and 2. And a big spot for Bethea, who just does stay alive as that one hooked toward the outer half. Battle being waged here. Another 1 and 2, and again Bethia spoils it. And this is something we have seen precious few hitters do. It's really been Lauren Miner and nobody else against Olivia Joy today, extending the at-bats. And some of them, like Sydney Sandin, who have hit the ball hard every time up, you don't necessarily blame. They've just gotten unlucky with the placement of the hits. But everyone else has been retired quickly. Ground ball to the left side. Bobbled at third. And in there is Bethia. The errors starting to come up again and again for Castleton in this frame. That's the second one. And the bases are now full of Beacons with 2 out for Caitlin Sawyer. For the moment, that is being ruled as a single. Should make it just the 5th hit of the game for UMass Boston. Popped up and out of play. Caitlin Sawyer up to the plate, hitting .269 on the season. She's got 4 doubles. This would be a big spot for a 5th. The Beacons in sore need of multiple runs on the board, and the softball gods will not forgive a team for squandering a chance like this late in the game. They're trying to make a comeback. Beacons at 4-8 in conference, just outside of the tournament bubble. Sawyer chops that one off once again, and now is working with a 2-strike count. One and 2. Reaches out, gets a piece, squibs it foul, will do it again. Beacon starting to fight up there against Joy. And the discipline in the 6th inning noticeably higher. She's starting to throw more and more pitches now. She's up to 75 pitches on the day. 2-2. Popped up. Shallow center. Coming on to make the catch is Heinrichs, and the Beacons get a run but leave them loaded. And at the end of 6 full, they trail by 6.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Last chance for Castleton to tack on some runs, and they'll try it with a 5, 6, 7 hitters. That would be Miranda Fish, Miranda Fish, Alex Brulette, and Aaron Ricks. For Fish, one of 3 Spartans who started every game. He even had a 5 RBI game against Worcester State on the 17th of March. And looking to preserve a 4-game hit streak. Fusco's pitch nibbles at the inside for strike 1. Any run they can get out of her, let her build some added confidence in the pitching circle, as that one's dug out and fouled away. She retired the only batter she faced in the previous inning, and now will get one to herself. It's tough to tell you which part of the Castleton order has done the most damage, because their runs have been so intertwined with plays that were outside of the Spartans' control. One and 2. Popped up. They'll stay on the infield. A couple of beacons converging, and it's Toomey with a larger glove making the catch. One gone in the frame, and the batter is Alex Brulette. The lone extra base hit of the game for either side belongs to her. It was her last time up, and it drove in a pair of runs. Fusco misses with the first offering, and the count 1-0. Wheels, deals, low, ball 2. For the Beacons in the bottom half of the inning, it'll be the 8-9-1 spots. Jordan Toomey, Mackenzie Cahill, Sophie Richland. But they would pretty much have to bat around if they wanted to tie this game. That one's launched, but foul. Fusco called on once again in relief. She's only started the 1 game this season. The other 8 appearances have been out of the pen. Spent a little bit of time in the lineup as well. And fires low there. Still working to get the release point where she wants it. (3-1). Lined into center field, and a diving try. Unable to come up with it is Richland. And that'll be a base hit. Second straight base hit for Alex Brulette. And it'll bring up Aaron Ricks with 1 on and 1 out. A pinch runner also called out. It's the freshman Dana Elkins. He's had 3 at-bats so far this season, but has been used more as a pinch runner despite having no hits. She scored 8 runs. It'll give you a sense of what her role on the team has been in her freshman campaign. Aaron Ricks now. 2 strikeouts and a fly out to left have marked the day for her. In a season where she came into the game with only 6 at-bats on the season. Her first hit of the year came in the team's last day of action. Shows bunt, can't quite get it down, on the count 0-1. Fusco leans back, fires home. And the bunt got tangled up in the bunter there, and now she's in an 0-2 hole. So Castleton trying to play small ball for the insurance on top of the insurance. And Fusco trying to work her way into a clean inning. Off the plate, away. The count now 1-2. Talked about UMass Boston just outside of the tournament bubble. Castleton's moved themselves into a 6-4 LEC record. And a bunt down with 2 strikes. The sacrifice does work. Back pick at second, and they got the runner hung up. Everyone's involved in a dive back, and she is out. Mackenzie Cahill, the left fielder, diving to force the runner out as she herself went back to the bag. And there you have it. A 3-4-6-7 double play ends the bottom of the ends the top of the 7th inning. And the Beacons with their last chance coming up.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Toomey, Cahill, Richland to get it started for the Beacons in a do-or-die 7th inning against Olivia Joy, who, despite the traffic on the bases, despite the errors from the defense behind her, has given up just the 1 unearned run through 6. Ground ball, weakly punch to third, up and throwing and retiring Toomey is Kayla Fack, and there's 1 gone in the bottom of the 7th. Beacons escaping trouble in the previous inning courtesy of a 3-4-6-7 double play. We see them try that back pick at second on infield ground balls quite a lot, but more often than not the throw will get away, or rather the throw will get away more often than they'll catch somebody. But every now and then someone gets a little bit too ambitious going around second. Mackenzie Cahill now quickly down 0-2. She's 0 of 6 on the season with 4 strikeouts. And although we've seen her make a couple of solid defensive plays plus an error, we have yet to see her put the ball in play today. One and two now. The sophomore outfielder. And she takes ball 2 to even up the count. Another one sails low, and Cahill patiently waits the count full. Beacons badly need a base runner here as the lineup prepares to turn over. And they're going to get one. Cahill reaches on a walk. She's on base for the first time this season. And back to the top of the order with Sophie Richland. Richland, the only Beacon to reach more than once today. Or correction, one of 2 Beacons along with Minor to reach twice. But the only one with 2 of the Beacon's hits. Squares to bunt, pulls back, takes strike 1. And as per usual, she's got the corners at first and third charging up on her. Runs up again and takes high this time. With the bases just 60 feet apart and with the acceleration that she's got, it's very hard to retire if she puts the ball on the ground. You better be ready if you're playing infield against her, as that one goes low. Richland batting .315 on the season. Top 10 in the conference in stolen bases, but the Beacons only really need the hit here. And they'll get one inside of third, and Sophie Richland is 3 for 4. Terrific day for the freshman in a game where the Beacons have struggled to generate offense. She has done her part. And now we've got ourselves a pinch hitter. Miranda Cuddy, who's just 2 at-bats on the season, has struck out both times, will pinch hit here for Kaylee Bruce, who was 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout before being subbed. And for Cuddy, with 2 on, and the Beacons still in a 6-run hole, be an interesting time for her first collegiate hit. She hails from Bridgewater, Mass. Just the second game she's gotten into this season, with it being a crowded lineup for head coach Ardagna and the Beacons. Off speed low, and Cuddy will start the at-bat ahead of Olivia Joy. Swings, chops that one to first. Tagging the bag for the second out of the inning is Samara Rideout. And now Sydney Sandin, the last hope for the Beacons. Advancing to third on the play was Cahill. To second, Richland. And now Sandin, who's riding an 0 for 16, has hit the ball on the screws all 3 times. Was robbed of a hit by a diving catch from Ricks her first time up. Smacked it straight to the left fielder Fish her second time. Lined to third sharply her third time. That one's into right field, and that'll do it. The last out of the game lands in the glove of Aaron Ricks. And the Castleton Spartans take this one 7-1 over UMass Boston. They move to 14-11 on the season, 7-4 in conference, with the Beacons falling to 18-14, 4-9 in conference. We're going to have the second game coming up for you from the Harbor in about 25 minutes. You can find it on the same LittleEast.tv website you're watching this one on. You may have to click a different link to get over to that game, but you should be able to find it no problem. If you're going somewhere else, we appreciate you landing with us for the first game and wish you a fine rest of your day. I want to say a thank you to our production team, to Michael Vesci, our producer, Maria Spilios and Dave Wahlberg in the director's chair, to Mike Manzo and Addie Buddington manning the cameras, and to Max Clifford for running graphics. For those of you sticking around for the second game, we will see you in about 25 minutes' time. I'm Milton Posner. Thank you so very much.